Hi YouTube, it is your girl Jasmine Marie, and I am coming to talk about a few people on this lovely Saturday evening. It's 5:34, so it is officially evening. I have my seltzer White Claw. I used to actually really like White Claw, and then I jumped on Truly, and then from Truly I jumped on a bunch of other ones. But this is White Claw Surge. It's 8% alcohol. It's still seltzer. And it's blood orange. I love all things blood orange. But yeah, I want to talk about a few people. Shady Saturday. Let's call this Shady Shady Saturday, because I'm going to be shady. I'm going to talk about Kim and Pete, Katie Thurston, a little comment from Lil Duval, Summer Walker, and Travis Scott. So let's first talk about Summer Walker, since she just released her album yesterday. So the internet has been going crazy over the Summer Walker album. I'm Still Over It is what it's called, and from my understanding, a lot of it is about London on the Track, right? So Summer Walker and London on the Track were in a relationship for however many years. To be honest, I don't really listen to Summer Walker. I probably know about 2 or 3 of her songs. And I'm gonna be honest, I was trying to get on the Summer Walker train. So I was like, okay, people are ranting and raving about this album, so let me go listen to it, right? So my daughter had a soccer game today at 1 o'clock. In between the soccer game and the time I dropped her off, I had about 30 minutes in the car to myself. So, I'm like, okay, let me check out Summer Walker right now. Nobody's in the car with me. It's just me by myself. I can really listen to the lyrics, hear the words, and dissect sis. I'm ready to be riding or whatever. So the first song was Bitter with Cardi B. And that one was okay. I wasn't like, oh, I'm about to play that again. And I'm the type of person where, I guess because the hype of this album is so hype, I was ready to be like, oh, did you hear what she said? Let me replay that. Because I remember when Lemonade first came out, I did a lot of that. I sat down and listened to the album, and I'm like, oh, I got to replay that part. There would be parts that I would just replay, especially on, what was it called? The Night song. Oh gosh, I know all Beyonce songs, but I can't think of it right now. Gosh, you know what? Now I'm about to look that up. Oh, I literally had brain fart. Ain't it funny? You betrayed me. And I know that you never feel sorry for the way all night. I was thinking last night, but all night. Okay. So there was so much stuff on that particular track right there. I was like, ooh, I gotta rewind it. I would immediately rewind it. So I'm ready to do all of that with Summer Walker's album. So I listened to the whole song of Bitter. And then I listened to the whole song of the next song. I can't even think of the name. So by then I'm like, I'm not 100% feeling it. Unpopular opinion, I was not feeling it immediately, okay? But I'm still going to listen to it. So at this point, I'm like, you know what? I'm only going to listen to a minute of each song. So I'll listen to the verse and the chorus. So I got to a point where I got to song 10 or 11, and I was like, So then I scroll down and I see this song called Fourth Baby Mama. And I'm like, oh, let me listen to that. Listen to it. I listened to that whole thing. I wasn't feeling it. I did not listen to the Sierra's prayer song because I had already heard a snippet of prayer on the Breakfast Club. So I'll go back and listen to that. But yeah, I'm not feeling the album. Nothing against Summer Walker or anything. I'm just not feeling it. So then I went to my group chat. I actually just about a few minutes ago, I went in my group chat and I text my friends, and we call ourselves chefs, the shady chefs. So I say, chefs, report to the room right now. So we pretty much all, get on the text thread, and we're texting. And I'm like, I'm not feeling Summer Walker's album. They start giving me their feedback. I was like, I really wanted to like it because people are talking about it. So, I told them, I was like, I was expecting some Mary J. Blige type shit or, Lemonade type shit, because I think about that. The one Mary J. Blige song that sticks out to me is How you think you figure? And I owe you when I gave you what you had and still gonna have it when it's gone. And how you fix your mouth to say you owe to say I owe you when you brought another bitch up in, like, I mean, you must have lost it, nigga. You won't get a dime. Now all you're gonna get to back, I can't get back my time. Wasted all this time. Like, you know, I was expecting to be feeling summer like that. Like, I remember when I first heard that Mary J. Blige song, like, that first part, I was like, whoa, did you hear what she said? Taking bitches on trips with my money. I was like, oh. Like, I mean, I was all in. So I really wanted to feel that with Summer, but I didn't feel it. And then I couldn't understand what she was saying. Like, it sounds like mumbling and then a lot of auto-tune. So I was not thrilled about that. And I'm sad because I really wanted to like the album just because everybody's like, oh, you know, she just got this relationship and he did her dirty. And, you know, I'm all for that. Like, I love that type of music. That Mary J. Blige, that Beyonce Lemonade type stuff. Like, that's my type of shit right there. Even right now, like, I'm really feeling Olivia Rodrigo, Traitor. Like, that song right there, like, Summer, like, you could have come like that. Well, how does the song go? It goes, you betrayed me, and I know that you'll never feel sorry for the way I heard you talk to her. When we were together, loved you at your worst, but that didn't matter. It took you 2 weeks to go off and date her. Guess you didn't cheat, but you're still a traitor. So, you know, like, even that right there, the Olivia Rodrigo, sis is like, what, 16, 17? Like, and I mean, whenever I hear that song on the radio, I don't turn it. I'm like, oh, this is my song, and I turn it up. Just because, like, I love that type of music. Like, that's my type of music. So, I'm disappointed in the Summer's album. But moving on. Let's move on to another artist, Travis Scott. So, unfortunately, last night at the Travis Scott Astro World Festival, 8 people lost their lives. That's really sad. And, it makes me think about all the times I've been at concerts and I've been right in the front, specifically in 2015 when I went to Philadelphia for Made in America. And that was actually my first time personally going to a music festival like that. So I've been to a music festival, but it's usually seated. So this particular festival was going to be stand-up. So this was my first time, going to a music festival where it was not seated, it was stand-up. And you know, I actually saw people pass out on the floor from drugs and stuff like that. But the reason why I'm bringing up the Travis Scott concert and what happened, because I was on the Shade Room and people really seem to be confused it's like they hear what happened, but they want to believe something else happened. Because I saw lots and lots of comments that were like, how could this have happened? There's got to be more to the story. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because I just want to spread the word that it doesn't necessarily have to be more to the story. When you're in a large crowd of people, this is a personal experience. So this happened to me in 2015 in Philadelphia at the Made in America concert. Me and my friends, we were walking towards the stage. And it got to a point where it was so many people. I've never in my life had a panic attack or had anything like remotely crazy happen to me inside, to the point where like I'm no longer breathing or, you know, I need to be taken to the hospital or whatever. But as me and my friends were walking, somehow the crowd, they started doing that pushing thing. And I remember like my mind literally felt outside of my body. And at that point, all of my friends, we all lost each other. And I remember just running. Like, this is a true story, running. And when I tell y'all, it felt like I was running for miles and miles and miles to get, like, I remember just, like, going like this and just running. And I'm just trying to get out of the crowd. And it was crazy because it just felt like it went on forever. And I remember when I got to the point where there was no more people, finally, I remember my mind just, like, coming back. Like, as if nothing had ever happened. But in that moment, like with all those people and that pushing, like I remember like the air just went out of my body. And I think my first instinct was to run. So when people ask, how can that happen? That's how that happens. It doesn't necessarily have to be more to the story. Nothing crazy could have happened to make that situation happen. All it is people pushing because it's just an excitement. So people are pushing, people are excited, and some people are having fun, and unfortunately while other people are having fun, people are suffering as well. So this happens all the time. As far as people dying, I don't know that it happens all the time. I know, I think in 2019 at Rolling Loud, one person died because I saw someone says, oh, this happens all the time, but since Travis Scott is black, of course they're gonna do the most. And this is not about race. This is not about race. Don't make it about race. The truth of the matter is 8 people died. So of course they're reporting on it. They're not blaming Travis. They're not, faulting him. They're just telling what happened at the concert. So don't make it about race. And if you're a little confused at how it happens, unfortunately, you just kind of have to be at the concert to understand. Basically, if people are just pushing, and if you're not necessarily a taller person, it's so easy to fall and get trampled over people. So instead of trying to figure out if there's more to the story or make it about race, let's just pray for the people who lost their lives, because that's really sad. Me and my daughter, we go to concerts all the time. I love to be on the floor. When I'm at Beyonce concerts, that's my MO, is the floor. And I would hate to ever go to a concert and not make it back home because of whatever the circumstance is or the situation is. And I just would want people to pray for my family. That's all I would want, and not try to make it something that it wasn't. And, unfortunately, that's just suffocation. That's just cardiac. And people people were on drugs. The people who died that didn't necessarily have to be on drugs. I mean, that's just music festivals are all day, first of all. And when I Made in America, we were going there at 11 o'clock in the morning, leaving at midnight. So just think about the lack of water, dehydration. So when the crowd is pushing, your body doesn't even have enough nutrients or whatever it needs. Especially some people haven't eaten all day. And yes, some people probably are on drugs or doing drugs or whatever the case may be. But that doesn't, even if they are, that doesn't mean that they should have died, or that whatever happened is whatever people are saying. So just pray for those people. That's all I want to say about that. Moving on to Kim Kardashian and Pete. So now what I know of Pete Davidson, is that his last name? Let me just Google it to make sure. I think this is his last name, just to make sure I'm talking about the right person. Yeah, so allegedly him and Kim Kardashian are dating and going out on one-on-ones and going to his hometown in Staten Island, New York, and all that jazz. But hey, if she's a single woman, go ahead. That's a little odd couple. I remember what I know of Pete is he dated Ariana Grande, and I believe they too were engaged. I may want to fact check that, but I think Ariana Grande and Pete Davidson were engaged. So that's all I know of Pete Davidson, other than the fact he does look a little funny, got some big lips like me. And he's a comedian. But yeah, they say he dating. They say they dating. I have no opinion other than that. Other than, like I said, she's single, so date on. So that's Kim and Pete. Moving on to Katie Thurston. So Katie Thurston was a former bachelorette, right? And she picked a guy. And I'm typing as I talk. But she picked a guy, and her and that guy are no longer together after 3 months. Which makes me a little bit nervous for Michelle. But I was reading some stuff on US Weekly, and it was kind of weird. It was saying that the guy, let me get his name so I don't have to keep saying the guy. His name is Blake. So I was reading that he had been on 2 former seasons. Is that correct? 2 former seasons of The Bachelorette. And he had been on 2 former seasons. Why would they put him on her season? I don't get that. I would have let him go just for that reason. Just for the reason that he had been on 2 previous seasons. I'm sorry. And then I could say like, oh, well, then it could be said like, oh, well, then you would have missed out on love. Did I really? Because they're not together. So I don't know how I feel about that. If that's true about him being on 2 other seasons of The Bachelorette, I don't get why they would bring him on to her season. Because I would want people who haven't already been a part of it, because they didn't get picked for a reason. Granted, I may not have the same taste as Susie May, but at the same time, like, I don't want Susie May's leftovers also. So that's really weird to me. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because I feel like whenever The Bachelor or The Bachelorette comes out, the people never stay together. So it questions the authenticity of the show. So it's like, remember and I still got to research this. In my last video, I kept saying, I'm going to research how much time goes by. I'm a little stuffed up too. But I got to research how much time goes by between the episodes, between these people actually meeting versus like each episode. Because, you know, it could be a simple thing as like they don't know them well enough to be proposing to them. And when you actually have to go live together, it just doesn't work out. From my understanding with Katie's situation, her and the guy were long distance. I have successfully been in a long distance relationship, so I can only speak positive things over a long distance relationship. I was in a long distance relationship for 4 years. I lived in Birmingham, Alabama, and my significant other lives in Long Island, New York. So I was actually talking about this at work yesterday. I was talking with this girl, and we were talking about how she's moving to North Carolina, and I was asking her what her and her boyfriend were gonna do, and I told them like, oh, okay, well, you know, I was in a long distance relationship, so a successful long distance relationship, have to throw successful in there. So I only have positive things to speak about it. And I, you know, told her like, I know you're really young. I think she's 19 or something. I was like, so long distance works as long as the 2 people want it to work. I was like, granted, where you are, you're 19. I was 26, you know, when I started my long distance relationship. And of course, so like a 19-year-old versus a 26-year-old, of course, where I was in life was a lot different than where she is. So, you know, it may work, it may not work, but the best of wishes to her. But back to Katie, her and the guy were long distance. So it seemed like, I read on the article, it was saying that Katie basically was like, oh, I'm doing me and figuring my life out, and he's doing him and figuring his thing out. So I'm curious to know, like, they asked, she did a statement a couple of weeks ago and asked for privacy and all of that. But eventually I do want to know what happened. Like, why did you guys figure out that, you know, why did you decide that it wasn't going to work out and you guys just wanted to call it quits? Was it the distance? Was it, what was it? We don't know what it is. And I think I respect people asking for privacy, but when you're on a public platform and you're on a public figure and people are excited for you and your journey and who you picked, I'm not saying you owe it to us to give us an explanation, because at the end of the day, you don't know us and you do have the right to protect your peace and your energy. But at the same time, maybe once the healing part, because healing is necessary. So maybe once healing occurs, then she'll tell us in her own right or whatever. Anyway, moving on. I'm moving on to Lil Duval. He said something the other day, and I just want to talk about it a little bit, but I got to find it on the Shade Room because, leave it to me, I don't already have it pulled up. Nevertheless, what he said I feel is really stupid. It was also discussed on The Real. And I just want to go on to say that I really like Garcelle on The Real. I feel like her energy matches so perfectly. I love the mature standpoint on where she comes from when she says a lot of things. Excuse me, guys. But I really, really, really like her. I do. Like, very well picked candidate for that position, if that makes sense. So, I gotta Google what he said because, of course, it's on the Shade Room. Lil Duval, recent women tweet, I guess. I probably would be better off just trying to find it on the Shade Room, to be honest. Because trying to Google it without knowing what he really said is... I wish there was a way to, like, search tweets. I mean, not tweets. Search Instagram posts. Granted, it shouldn't be too far down. Oh, you know what? I forgot to say something else about that Summer Walker, too. So, when me and my friends, we were talking about the Summer Walker thing or whatever, somebody, one person in the chat, one person in the group chat was like, oh, I like Fourth Baby Mama. I was like, it sounded stupid. I was like, but what Fourth Baby Mama isn't? Sorry, that was really shady, but I had to say it. It definitely had to be said, right? I don't know. To me, it sounded like she was dealing with a lot of baggage. Anyway, I found the Lil Duval comment. So this is what he said. In a perfect world, women with kids shouldn't be working, okay? In a perfect world, women with kids shouldn't be working. That is a full job itself. I think this one of the reasons balance is off nowadays in our community. So I get the positivity, but why shouldn't women work? Why should women be the ones to take care of children? Why can't men take care of children? Like, you know? Why do people automatically say the women should be taking care of the children? The women can actually go out and work, and the men can take care of the children. So I definitely don't agree with that. And I feel like he probably did it for likes, to be honest, because in 2021, women want more than to just be a mom and to take care of some children. Like, there's so much more to women. Like, we are entrepreneurs, we are corporate workers, we are retail workers, we are everything up under the sun. And why dim our light to just take care of our children, you know? And I think maybe if he had said something like, in a perfect world, people who take care of children shouldn't be working. I don't know. I wouldn't even agree with people. Why do people always feel the need to speak on people? That's the other thing. Like, mind your business. Like, you're not a woman, so don't say that women who take care of children shouldn't be working. That's not for you to say. And that's why the balance is off. I wonder what he meant by that. Nowadays in our community, because we're working and taking care of children. I don't know. I didn't really like that. That's why I wanted to talk about it, because I didn't really like that statement. I feel like he was trying to be positive, but I feel like I don't like it. That's the way I feel. The Real Tank said, which is another guy. Of course, Tommy said, I totally agree. Okay. Real Tank said, I won't say shouldn't be, I'll say shouldn't have to. I like that. I like that, Tank. Women have dreams and aspirations as well. Again, in my world, my wife doesn't have to work, but in pursuing her own business venture, she has my help and full support. I like that. That's real men. Prima Donna said, I finally agree with him. So she agrees with Lil Duval. And Laura Golden, especially a single mother of 4. I like this. Somebody who's not of some type of status that I know of said, some of us want identities outside of our children. Goals we want to accomplish. Just because we are mothers doesn't mean we can't do anything else. That is what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. My identity of Jasmine Marion is not just inside of motherhood. So yes, I'm a mother of 2 children, but I have a whole identity outside of that. There is so much more to me than being than being a mother. I invest a lot of myself into my children, but I also there are times where I'm closed off to my children. I'm not with my children 24/7. I don't want to be with my children 24/7. I have a life, and I want to constantly have a life outside of my children, outside of being a girlfriend. I don't just want to be a mom and a girlfriend. I want to be more than that, because look at this personality. My picture while it's shaking. Like, why dim all of that light to just be a mom? There's so, like, devil's advocate. I don't want to not work just because I have kids. I love my children. However, my life's purpose is more than just being a mother. I'm passionate about my career and helping others. That's me. However, I do see where he is coming from and appreciate the thought of that. Hello. I see where he's coming from. I see the positivity, but mothers shouldn't be working. Me personally, unless I ran into millions and millions of dollars, I don't think I would ever not work. And then even if I ran into millions and millions of dollars, I have all these businesses that I would do, so I still wouldn't not be working. I'm just not a person who wouldn't work, you know. I feel vindicated by, like, you know, going out making my own money. But a lot of people agree with him though. But again, I think he just was trying to honestly be cool and be positive. But when you want to be cool and be positive, don't bring women into it. Just speak on something of yourself, or give some type of gender neutral advice, in my opinion. Because I'm just sick of all these people speaking on women. Anyway, that's all I got for today. Shady Saturdays. So I'm about to go. It is 6 o'clock. I want to maybe take a bubble bath and get ready for Love and Marriage Huntsville. So guys, have a great day. Have a great rest of your Saturday, and bye-bye.